To Pratapgarh, Rajputan, India, was erected over a gushing spring. The water is so richly saturated with sugar that it's possible to distill thick molasses from it by boiling. The saccharine spring overflows at regular intervals and drenches the temple with a sugary flood. As a result, the edifice is always thickly encrusted with sugar, and the walls of the temple are eagerly licked by sweet, starved children, believe it or not.
Truth is stranger than fiction, and this is the proof. This is Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Bradgate House in England was burned by Anne Grey in an unsuccessful attempt to force her husband to move back to London. It has been preserved as a ruin for 268 years as an object lesson to all wives, believe it or not. In a moment, I'll tell you about the man who tempted fate.
What's puzzling you, Ethelbert?
One of those quizzes, and it says here, what are these men famous for? Sidney Porter, Samuel Clemens, Charles Dodgson.
Well, they're all great authors.
Well, how come I never heard of them?
Well, you would if they printed their pen names. They're O. Henry, Mark Twain, and Lewis Carroll.
Well, I'll be. Those names are famous. Everybody knows them.
Mm-hmm. Like everybody knows Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
Fate is a fickle one. It can be kind to some and extremely cruel to others. And if Thomas Rogers was at all superstitious, he certainly would not have tempted fate by staying in the mining business. Rogers was a lead miner of Yarnbury, England. On December 16th, 1852, he was killed by a rock fall. It was the same type of accident in the same mine that had taken the lives of his father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather. Believe it or not.
Truth is stranger than fiction, and this is the proof. This is Ripley's Believe It or Not.
The St. James Gate Brewery in Dublin, Ireland was leased by a merchant in 1759 for 9,000 years. His successors are still operating it with more than 8,700 years to go. Believe it or not.
Every one of you undoubtedly has a headache or pain remedy that you swear by. But haven't you noticed that on some occasions it fails you? That there are times it does not seem to work? On these occasions, let me suggest that you try Anacin, for here is a remedy that I'm sure won't fail you. You'll find the fastest and most complete relief in Anacin you have ever experienced. The reason is simple. Anacin contains not one pain-soothing agent alone, but 4, one of which is in all probability the remedy you now customarily take to relieve pain. You can get Anacin at your druggist for a few cents. Your money back if you're not pleased. I'll spell the name. Anacin.